Egypt, the richest source of archaeological treasures on the planet.
Oh, wow, look at that!
Hidden beneath this desert landscape lie the secrets of this ancient civilization.
I never seen something like this.
Now, for a full season of excavations, our cameras have been given unprecedented access to follow teams on the front line of archaeology.
This is the most critical moment.
Revealing buried treasures.
Oh!
We're lucky today.
Wow, lots of mummies.
The smell is horrible.
And making discoveries that could rewrite ancient history.
We've never had the proof until now.
This is where it all started.
My goodness, I never expected this.
This time, we unlock the secrets of TutanKhamun's golden treasures.
This is for the first time to see this.
Uncovering the mysteries buried with the boy king almost 3,500 years ago.
Definitely, we have something.
Alejandro searches for the tombs belonging to the rulers of the south who would have served the great pharaohs.
It's amazing.
John and Maria head into the desert, hunting for the lost quarries of TutanKhamun.
My heart is pumping, yeah? It's pumping.
And Nozomu pushes excavation to the limit to uncover the lost tombs of TutanKhamun's elite.
It's really dangerous inside.
Egypt, birthplace of one of the most enigmatic civilizations in history. The Pyramid Tombs and the Valley of the Kings, the final resting places of powerful pharaohs. Of the possible 63 tombs in the valley, there is one that outshines the rest and has captured the world's imagination. The tomb of TutanKhamun. The boy king was just 18 years old when he died. But his priceless golden treasures have made him the most famous pharaoh of all time. His funerary riches have been displayed all over the world. But now they are all coming back to Egypt. Cairo. In the shadows of the Great Pyramids, engineers are building a $1 billion museum and research facility. The Grand Egyptian Museum will house all TutanKhamun's 5,000 treasures in one place for the first time in 100 years. One of the centerpieces of the museum will be TutanKhamun's golden coffin. Ahmed Abdrabu is leading the research process to get it ready.
I must be very careful. One of the big challenge for me to be responsible for the restoration of one of the masterpiece of TutanKhamun collection.
The coffin was one of many priceless treasures found in TutanKhamun's tomb. When Howard Carter's team opened the tomb in November 1922, they discovered a wealth of treasures and gifts the king would need in the afterlife. 6 disassembled golden chariots, his throne, and provisions of food and wine. Concealed behind a false wall was a stone sarcophagus protecting a gold-plated coffin. Inside it, 2 more coffins, the innermost made of solid gold and covered in gemstones. And inside that, the mummy of TutanKhamun, wearing a magnificent death mask, the most famous find in all of Egypt. Ahmed needs to discover how the ancient artisans built TutanKhamun's golden coffin. The inside is made of wood, but the outside is covered with a thin layer of precious gold.
Must be very, very careful because I am working on one of the masterpieces.
Under the lens, Ahmed discovers an extraordinary secret.
The thickness of the gold leaf, it ranged between 14 and 18 micron.
The ancient artisans could craft gold as thin as shrink wrap. But to get a flawless finish, they could not apply the gold directly onto the uneven chiseled wood. Ahmed investigates closer and finds a mystery layer between the gold and the wood.
This is for the first time to see this.
Ahmed finds a 3,300-year-old secret, known only to the top craftsmen closest to the king.
This textile layer, I think is linen.
The ancient craftsmen used linen bandages to smooth out the jagged wood and create a perfect finish for the thin gold. Almost 3,500 years later, we are still solving the mysteries of TutanKhamun. Ahmed is on the hunt for more clues. 425 miles south of Cairo is the ancient stronghold of Aswan. It's here TutanKhamun would have positioned his most trusted governors to defend the southern border between Egypt and gold-rich Nubia.
No, espérate, cógelo tú.
Professor Alejandro Jimenez Serrano
O Luis, ¿qué tiene Ana en la 35N?
is back for his 12th season at the ancient site of Kubet El Hawa in search of the elite that once ruled here.
What we have is the tombs of the highest officials of the province. Not only the officials, but also their family and their assistants.
For 16 years of his career, Alejandro has been studying the tombs of the ruling families of the south. They would have served the powerful pharaohs like TutanKhamun. In 2017, he found the tomb of the brother of Saranput II, a powerful governor of Aswan. Now Alejandro is back in search of new evidence about this powerful clan.
Vale, gracias.
It seems that we have something interesting.
Let's go.
This could be the discovery he has been waiting for.
It is exciting.
"40 miles north of Aswan sit the sandstone quarries of Gebel El Silsila, used by the great pharaohs. The enormous temples of Luxor and Karnak were forged from rock quarried there.
Let's go. Let's go.
John Ward and Dr. Maria Nielsen have been excavating together here for 8 years. Their home is a houseboat on the Nile.
Nils, what about you, mate?
They are working with a team of archaeologists to investigate the secrets of the ancient Egyptian quarries. This year, John and Maria, with their fittingly named dog, Carter, want to solve an ancient mystery. Was TutanKhamun also one of the powerful pharaohs who used these quarries?
It's always a delay.
Today, they need to get to a remote spot in the vast Egyptian desert with their workforce. But their morning commute across the River Nile is eating into precious sunlight hours.
28 minutes late already. Every minute that we stand here waiting is a lost minute on site.
Workers finally on shore, the hunt for TutanKhamun's lost quarry begins.
Another day in paradise. Sun, sand, dirt, stone, boiled eggs, and cucumber.
Their journey by road ends here. To reach their destination, they will have to carry their equipment by hand in 100-degree heat and across half a mile of steep, rocky hills.
Okay then, guys. You ready? Yellow bean.
Their late arrival means John and Maria will have to split up to cover the massive site before it gets dark. John is going to look for evidence of quarry workers' homes,
Ready?
while Maria hunts for clues that might date this site to TutanKhamun's reign.
I think the game of today is to establish that this is from the time of Tutankhamun.
Come on in, guys.
John heads straight for an ancient settlement, maybe once used by a quarry workforce. If he can find distinctive pottery with the telltale markings, it could help him date the site.
Look at the amount of pottery on the floor.
This is where we should excavate.
Where's the safest route down?
While Maria starts her hunt for clues at a quarry face that has been untouched for millennia. 40 miles south of Gebel el-Silsila in Aswan, workers excavating close to Governor Saranput II's tomb find ancient chisel marks.
Here there is something that is quite strange, because we have a type of carving and this is smoother. So, sincerely, we have no idea what we are going to find. Hey, look. Sun is going down, probably indicating that here we have a hole. I've seen this only when we have a funerary chamber there.
It could be a tomb. But is there any treasure buried beneath the golden sand? Alejandro and his team have centuries of rubble to dig through before they can uncover what is hiding in this corner of Kabet El Hawa.
We could see only the smooth carving of 10 centimeters, and now we have 30 centimeters.
If it's a tomb, it could belong to a leading member of one of Egypt's most influential families.
Ah, look. Yeah. Look at there. Probably it would be a chamber. We still have much material to remove, but sure we have the burial chamber.
Just 55 yards away lies the tomb of the head of a powerful family, Saranput II, the governor of Aswan. Is it possible that the tomb Alejandro is unearthing nearby could belong to someone as prominent?
This tomb shows the grandeur of the governors. They wanted to show their power.
Saranput II was a rich and influential leader. He was an important chief from Aswan, part of a ruling class of commanding and wealthy families. From an island on the Nile, they controlled the gateway to Africa and guarded important trade routes along the Nile into Egypt. African traders brought in luxury goods for the pharaohs, such as ebony, leopard skins, and ostrich eggs. But most importantly of all, they brought in gold from Nubia that filled the tombs of the mighty pharaohs, including TutanKhamun.
Tamam?
Just yards away from Saranput II's burial chamber,
Okay.
Alejandro's team excavates a tiny hole into their ancient tomb.
Here we have some termites. This is good evidence because they are always looking for the coffins. These are the great moments.
Finally, this tomb can give up its secrets.
It's amazing. Some bandages, some bones. We have the clothes in a slab over there. Very well made. It's huge.
Alejandro can see just the top of the tomb. It will take his team days to excavate and to discover its treasures. 400 miles north, in Saqqara, TutanKhamun expert Professor Nozomu Kawai is back for his third season excavating the Saqqara Plateau.
We just keep digging.
He is looking for the tombs of the elite who would have served Tutankhamun. An untouched tomb in this area could hold priceless golden treasure.
This is the center of the administration and economy, but the tombs of the high officials who are running the country has been missing.
Nozomu found the entrance to what he hopes is a tomb. This year, he intends to go further and enter it.
The entrance, it's covered with the bricks.
At the end of the tunnel, Nozomu finds a mud brick wall and a stela, an ancient inscribed stone often commemorating the dead. It's a clue to what could lie beyond the brick wall.
If we excavate underneath, we will probably find doorways. So actually, the entrance is pretty much covered with the sand and rubble at this moment.
It's a promising sign Nozomu is on the verge of a huge discovery. He knows this whole area houses burial chambers of the elite. And a few hundred yards away is a clue from one of Tutankhamun's trusted servants. Archaeologists in 1996 found a rocky ridge buried under the desert sand. Inside it, they uncovered a tomb. When they removed the sand from the entrance chamber, they revealed a stunning image on the wall. A young King Tutankhamun sitting on the lap of a woman. They identified her as Maya, a nurse who raised the boy king, and this was her tomb. How many more of his closest allies lie undiscovered inside the ridge? Nozomu's team carefully remove the stela.
This is the first flying object. We are really excited.
In the field research tent, Nozomu gets a closer look. The stela shows three gods, Sokar, Thoth, and Anubis. They are gods sometimes associated with the underworld. And he's seen them somewhere before. On the back of the famous death mask of Tutankhamun, Sokar and Anubis are engraved in the hieroglyphs. Could this be another clue that behind the brick wall at the end of the tunnel lies a tomb? 375 miles south, in the quarries of Gabel el Silsila, John and Maria are searching for evidence of the lost quarry of Tutankhamun.
Go into the fissure, go along it, leave the big stone in situ.
But to confirm it is Tutankhamun's quarry, they need to date it. And one way is to look for his distinctive style of blue pottery.
I need that to give me definite chronology, to put this squarely within Tutankhamun's period.
Maria searches for clues at a quarry face that has been abandoned for centuries.
Sometimes an inscription can just pop out because the light is perfect.
She works with fellow archaeologist Dr. Niels Billing.
We got an ankh right into it.
Where?
Ankh means life in ancient Egyptian, and the sound is the middle part of TutanKhamun's name. Maria and Niels need to find TutanKhamun's complete name, which they expect to be displayed on a royal seal known as a cartouche. If it exists here, it's proof this quarry was once officially used by the boy king.
Okay, so we know what level to search for. So let's just scout the area.
Yo.
If they find it, it could mean that the young TutanKhamun was quarrying here for massive building projects, previously unknown to archaeologists.
Niels, over here. We got something.
Maria continues her hunt for evidence this ancient quarry, hidden away in the deserts of the south of Egypt, was once used by TutanKhamun. She searches for a cartouche used by pharaohs to mark their property.
Yes.
A cartouche is not just a royal name written in hieroglyphs. Ancient Egyptians thought they had magical powers. In 1922, Howard Carter found a golden shrine in TutanKhamun's tomb that contained vessels of mummified organs. On the inside chest, he discovered 2 cartouches, believed to offer powerful protection from evil spirits. 7 hieroglyphs spell out TutanKhamun's name. 3 more spell ruler of Thebes. On the second cartouche, the sun disk and the scarab beetle, both symbols of immortality and rebirth. These powerful signs help the pharaoh's spirit and soul find his body and resurrect him. At the quarry face, Niels decodes the hieroglyphs.
We have the name of Tutankhamun. That is a loaf of bread. It has a phonetic value T. The bird is U, then Ankh. Amun, you can read here. A feather is the sign for A. And this sign, which is a sign of a monument, and that is spelled out men. Amen. Tut, Ankh, Amun.
But something catches his eye.
This waterline is an N, but actually they added another N here, which is unusual. And then you would have expected another T up here to fulfill the word, to make the word complete, Tut.
Have the team found Tutankhamun's name? Or have they found ancient graffiti? 375 miles north in Saqqara, Nozomu hunts for the tombs of Tutankhamun's inner circle of advisors. His team is excavating what Nozomu hopes is a tomb from the time of Tutankhamun. If he is right, it will be the discovery of his career. And just yards away, outside the entrance, they have a promising discovery.
We found 3 mummies this morning.
The mummies may reveal vital clues about the possible tomb. So Nozomu works with mummy expert Professor Salima Ikram to decode what they could be.
And the first thing to look at is this mummy. It's really very lovely. It's not oriented in the same way as the other ones.
At this site, most of the mummies' heads point to the south. This mummy's head points to the north.
Oh! And now we know why. Because if you see here, you've got this band, this tape, with these 2 red strips on either side. And this is very typical of the Coptic period.
The Coptic period is Egypt's era of Christianity, 1,500 years after the reign of Tutankhamun. But Nozomu needs to know if all the mummies here are from this later period. The clues may be in how the mummies are prepared. Long before the pharaohs of Egypt, mummies happened naturally when dead bodies dried up in the hot Egyptian desert. The early Egyptian priests then started to deliberately preserve the bodies of the dead pharaohs for the afterlife by covering them with a mixture of salts and removing their brains, guts, and other internal organs. Mummification grew in sophistication over centuries as priests stuffed the nose with seeds and replaced the eyes with onions to make them even more lifelike. But after the Romans invaded Egypt in 30 BC, more importance was placed on the appearance of coffins. As Christianity spread across Egypt, mummification became more basic. Salima has a quick way to date this mummy. If the remains are salty, it means it could be an early Egyptian-style burial when a lot of salt was used for preservation.
Desiccation was minimal, but it's hard to tell because the sand a bit salty.
Yes.
But not enough for the precipitate effect. It wasn't very salted.
The lack of salt could mean this mummy is from the Coptic period, when their simple mummification process did not use as much salt.
You also, in Egypt and at Saqqara, have a lot of reuse of tombs. But they don't throw people out because they might get a curse upon you.
This mummy shows that the Saqqara necropolis was used all the way from the time of King TutanKhamun right up until the Coptic period. But Nazomu's potential tomb appears to be unopened, and there is a chance the original occupant, possibly from Tutankhamun's reign, is still there. Getting inside, however, is a huge challenge.
Too hot inside. So with little persons, it's not good for the mud break, because already it's very weak.
The ceiling is incredibly fragile, and the team worry it will collapse.
If the humidity blazes, it's not good for the structure.
If they put 1 foot out of place, the tunnel might collapse on their heads. In the lab of the new Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo, an army of specialists are working around the clock to investigate and preserve Tutankhamun's treasures. All 5,398 are set to go on display, including a 3,300-year-old chair once used by the boy king. It's down to Ahmed El Sheikha to restore it, ready for museum visitors.
I have 122 pieces for Tutankhamun restoration and conservation, and this is my dreams.
But all Tutankhamun's treasures were almost lost forever. When Howard Carter discovered the tomb 100 years ago, he found it had been broken into long before. But why did those first tomb raiders leave so much treasure behind? The robbers may have been the tomb builders themselves, breaking in soon after sealing the tomb. They stole as much as they could carry. The theft was discovered and the shaft was filled with limestone chippings. But a second gang of robbers dug through the rubble and carried away more of the riches. Then a flash flood dumped a thick layer of rocks over Tutankhamun's tomb, protecting it for nearly 3,500 years. In the lab, Ahmed is trying to save a chair once sat in by Tutankhamun, and he's discovered it's made from a very fragile material.
This is the first time you can see a chair made of papyrus.
After Howard Carter's team excavated these artifacts, they hoped to prevent decay by coating them with paraffin wax.
So the nature of my work now, try removing all dangerous materials that using in the past.
100 years on, the once soft wax has hardened and the papyrus is starting to snap. Tutankhamun's ancient chair could break at any moment. Ahmed must act quickly to save this priceless artifact, but he faces a problem.
The nature of the wax can convert the papyrus from easy moving to hard moving.
The wax has made the papyrus brittle. To save the chair, Ahmed must carefully remove the wax with a scalpel, but time is not on his side.
The restoration and conservation can take me 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
It's a painstaking task. But without the museum's army of specialists, these artifacts would eventually disintegrate, and the treasures of TutanKhamun would be lost again, and this time, forever. 400 miles south in Gebel El Silsila,
This was not done in haste.
No.
Maria and Niels think they have found TutanKhamun's name carved into the quarry face.
I find it intriguing.
But the spelling mistake has thrown the find into doubt.
If Neil can confirm, then it is like a claim that says that this quarry was used during the time of Tutankhamun.
It's made in the size that it actually should be seen. This is official.
Niels and Maria are now convinced TutanKhamun's name was inscribed here officially. It is vital evidence he used the quarry.
So just take this little bit here and just give a sweep and see what we got.
John looks for flashes of distinctive blue pottery, pottery made in TutanKhamun's reign.
Start in this area here.
With this, he hopes to find a second way to date the site and prove this settlement was used by TutanKhamun's quarry workers.
This is better. The smaller fragments is exactly what I'm after. Heavy foot traffic within the encampment itself, showing that people were coming and going.
John has found small bits of broken pottery suggesting people once lived here, but not the telltale TutanKhamun blue pottery.
Where? Okay, hold on. Follow.
But they do find something astonishing.
My heart is pumping, yeah? It's pumping.
A rare amulet shaped like a scarab beetle.
Now, the reason why we're excited about scarabs is, of course, that if you turn them and we got an imprint on them, then that can give us a firm date.
The scarab beetle represented rebirth, so the ancient Egyptians made scarab-shaped amulets as lucky charms. They were made from stone, metal, or even precious gems.
This is what it's all about.
Scarabs were often inscribed with a depiction or name of a god. The identity of the god could help date it.
Oh. You ready? I'm going to let you see it first.
Okay, it's got a god.
I gotta see it now. I had to go. Oh, wow.
Can the scarab help prove this is TutanKhamun's quarry? John and Maria try to decode the engraving on the ancient scarab.
We've got a bit of glyph at the top.
They hope it can help them prove TutanKhamun's quarry workers once lived here.
Probably Horus. So it lies quite nicely in the time frame of Tutankhamun. And look above us. Horus comes flying as we find it.
An engraving of an ancient Egyptian god, Horus, could place the scarab in Tutankhamun's reign. His rule brought with it religious transformation. Tutankhamun's father, the pharaoh Akhenaten, abandoned Egypt's old gods and decreed the worship of just one god, the sun god. But at the age of 9, Tutankhamun became one of the youngest pharaohs ever. He abolished the worship of a single sun god and reinstated all the old Egyptian gods, like Horus, under the rule of their king god Amun. Maria and John's discovery of the sky god Horus here is a clue the site dates to Tutankhamun's time.
It is a great find. Can it get any better?
But Maria and John need absolute proof this is a Tutankhamun site and continue their search for the telltale clue, Tutankhamun's distinctive style of blue pottery. 40 miles south in Aswan, Alejandro is back on site. He's hoping to discover more about the family of Governor Saranput II. Alejandro's team has now excavated the discovered tomb, and he can investigate it properly. The craftsmanship and location of the rock-cut tomb suggest this is a burial chamber of the elite. But there is no mummy. However, there are clues to who could have been buried inside.
These are the only remains that we found.
The team finds fragments at the bottom of the tomb that may hold the key. These wooden shards are what's left of a coffin. But Alejandro discovers unusual markings on them.
I have just noticed the presence of a couple of eyes. Here we have one eye and another eye.
These eyes are wadjet eyes, meant to let the dead see outside the coffin, and they normally match exactly the size of the body inside. The small size and shape of the eyes tells Alejandro who possibly occupied the tomb.
This is a coffin of a child. Very, very young. I would say almost a baby.
With no more artifacts and without an inscription to decipher, Alejandro will never know the name of the tomb's owner. But he can still decode more clues.
Just from the colors and the type of wood, this coffin was prepared for a member of the elite.
Alejandro's closer to finding more of this powerful family. His search for the governing rulers of Aswan and the pharaoh's most trusted subjects continues.
We do not have here TutanKhamun, but we have some information which is at the end what we are looking for.
"400 miles north, in the labs of the Grand Egyptian Museum, Ahmed is working on one of TutanKhamun's greatest treasures, a golden processional chariot. But like many of TutanKhamun's treasures found by Howard Carter, it has also been preserved in wax. Ahmed needs to remove all the wax, but it has hardened to a brittle and precarious condition. The delicate gold layer beneath makes this a precarious task.
We need to use new technique, such as gel, to avoid any damage for the surface itself.
The task falls to conservation expert Ahmed. He must make a special cleaning gel using ethanol acetate and white spirit. The slightest error in the solution risks irreparable damage to the precious chariot.
If we mix it this wrong, I think it will damage the inlays that we used in the chariot.
What should look like a thick gel has come out as a watery solution, which could loosen more than just the wax.
I can't use this for the cleaning of the chariot, so I must make another one.
Ahmed cannot risk damaging the chariot. All hopes are on the second batch.
Now, I apply the tissue paper. Then after 5 or 10 minutes, I will remove the gel.
It's a nerve-jangling wait. If Ahmed's got the mix wrong, it could strip the gold from TutanKhamun's chariot. After 10 anxious minutes, it's the moment of truth for Ahmed. Has the cleaning solution worked, or has it caused irreparable damage to the priceless chariot?
I am very happy about this. The gel is working.
Now with a working solution, Ahmed and the team will be able to restore the chariot to sit proudly alongside TutanKhamun's other treasures. Almost 400 miles south in Gebel El Silsila, John and Maria search for blue-decorated pottery from TutanKhamun's reign.
Shagofi Ahmed. Shagofi Ahmed. Ah!
One of the workers spots a flash of blue in the golden sand.
You're about to make me a very, very happy man. Oh. Absolutely beautiful. Both me and Maria have always said that this is the quarries of TutanKhamun, but we've never had the proof until now.
Maria takes a look to check for certain if it is from the time of TutanKhamun.
I would place these in the TutanKhamun period. Blue signify royalty, the gods as well. Blue is a very rare color for them to find and work with. They do indicate that our workers' village is from the time of TutanKhamun.
Couldn't have wished for a better piece of evidence. Excellent.
John and Maria have the evidence they need. They think they can prove this is the quarry of TutanKhamun. "375 miles north in Saqqara, it's Nozomu's life's work to prove TutanKhamun's inner circle of elite are buried here. After 3 weeks, he's discovered the entrance to a tomb. And now it's the moment of truth.
This is a kind of moment we archaeologists really enjoy, entering. Isn't it exciting? The condition of the ceiling is so fragile. It's really dangerous inside.
If the ceiling collapses, it could be fatal. But to see what's in there, someone will have to crawl down the long corridor inside the tomb.
Smell of mummies. There are lots of objects inside. I think we made a really important discovery.
Despite the fragile roof and the danger of collapse, one of Nozomu's team crawls deeper into the tomb. The risk is worth it. Archaeological treasures are everywhere he looks.
Lots of mummies. There are 2 coffins, but undecorated and partly broken. Wow. It looks like the big statue of goddess.
The team need to reinforce the ceiling before they can all venture inside and truly examine what they have found.
This result is really tantalizing. So once we start digging inside, we will find more evidence to tell the story of this necropolis.
Nozomu's team will be back to uncover more of the plateau's secrets next year and see if the elite of TutanKhamun are hidden below. In the meantime, Nozomu must brick up the entrance to protect the treasures inside.
I'm gonna dedicate to excavate here rest of my life. This is just the beginning,
Almost 3,500 years after his death and 100 years after his rediscovery, TutanKhamun continues to beguile and fascinate, inspiring archaeologists from all over the world to come to Egypt for the chance to add their names to history and find their own lost treasures.